fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at DX Tarantula Abyss from Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger. This was featured in an episode for like a second. We have Emperor Desnarak here, very large and prominent in the left side of the screen, and he talked to Tarantula Abyss for a few scenes, very minimal exposure, but he was in the show. We saw him basically this size. This is almost screen accurate size-wise. And it was just, you know, the God Tarantula, Shoe God, in this new black and gold color scheme. He does have a fair amount of, like, navy blue in there as well. But this will kind of complete them re-releasing all of the Shoe Gods in the black and gold color scheme. For the most part, I'll touch on that a little bit later on. But yeah, he looks pretty cool. I mean, like I said, you know, we got the black and gold color scheme, a little bit of navy blue in there as well. This is the front of the box. Up here, just kind of some more pics of the two of them on the top. Not really much going on down here on the bottom, but you get a little close-up of the robot mode. Over here on this side, it does include Cicada Blade and Peed Chainsaw in gold versions. And then you just have kind of a cool look of the tarantula over here on this side. And then on the back, we just have a cool shot of the robot mode. This was a premium Bandai item. I actually got this from Amazon Japan, though. They're doing some premium Bandai items occasionally, which is kind of cool. So that's pretty much it for the packaging. I'm going to go ahead, get everything out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. So here's everything that comes included in the box. Of course, we have Tarantula Abyss, but we also have these two new gold versions of Peed Chainsaw and Cicada Blade. I'm going to put these two off to the side for just a moment, and we'll focus here first on Tarantula Abyss. I think it looks really cool. Like I said, I like the overall black and gold color scheme, but there honestly is a fair amount of the navy blue as well. I mean, there's a lot of it here on the legs, a little bit here in the kind of like top section, as well as what will become the robot's abdomen. But all of this chrome is really, really nice. You can see all of the nice chrome here on the head, kind of where the eyes are for the tarantula, the little like spinnerets down here, and then all here on the actual like points of the legs, I guess we'll say. Not so much anything going on in the back here, but then of course you do have this bit here on the back, and then over here you have the crown piece for Legend KingOhger, which looks really, really sharp. So all of the chrome is really nice. Now, I'm not the best, I admit, at posing the tarantula legs. I'm doing what I can here, but this is the basic configuration, so you can play with them and pose the spider around as you wish. But you do get a decent amount of articulation in this mode. You have joints here, so you have, this can hinge. This whole bit will rotate with a really nice solid ratchet. This can move. You have a ratchet here. If you want, technically, you can move this up. This is stationary here. You do have, like, the back spinneret area can also move up and down. You can kind of utilize like the ab crunches and things from the robot mode if you want to get a different pose. This little leg piece, I still think this is dumb. This is just something they put in to give him 8 legs, but it only pops out to that far, but you can move that around. This is going to be the hip of the robot mode, so you can move that all around. You have a hinge there. This hinges up and down. This is on a ball joint. So it's a lot of articulation, especially for a Sentai mech. But it is pretty much, you know, exactly the same mold as the regular version, which allow me to, where did I put that? Here it is. We'll pop that in here next to it so you can kind of see the direct comparison. You know, just different color scheme and a lot more chrome over here. Not really any chrome over here. This was just painted gold. But yeah, it's the same mold. The mold you know and love. And I did like this one, I have to say. I thought this was a fun little standalone mech. I think the tarantula mode looks cool. The robot mode looks cool. A lot of great articulation. And the transformation is really not too intricate, which is nice. But yeah, so if you loved this and you always wanted it with just more black, gold, and chrome, then this is the one for you. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the robot mode transformation. So transformation for this guy is pretty simple. You can start out by coming down here to this back section and really just kind of straightening it out. These little sections will get pushed in. Pop that leg down. Pop this down. it's really just straightening out the legs. There you go. That's pretty much done. If I come up here, you're going to flip out the front of the tarantula head, bring that all the way forward and slide that up, and then just kind of rotate that down. Then you're going to take these two sections. This will flip. These two, just kind of make it so that they can pass each other. This will come up, and then this will fold down as far as it can go. It kind of naturally stops right there. And then you just bring this down, flip this around to the back. Let me reposition this. Just leave this one up. No, I'm just kidding. So we're going to take this, again, straighten these out so that they can pass each other. This comes up. This folds all the way down. And then flip this back. And we are good to go. There is Tarantula Abyss in robot mode. And again, it looks good. Now, obviously, a lot less chrome in this form. I mean, you have this little bit here from the kind of leg shoulder pads, this little bit here in the chest and on the head. But then the rest of it here is all kind of hidden on the back. Now, with this piece here, if you want to leave it up, if you want to put it all the way down, I kind of like to give it like a 45-degree angle. But yeah, that is our robot mode. So the head is on a ball joint, can look really far up, can look down. Spin side to side, tilt side to tilt side to side there. You have this movement here in the shoulder. You also have an out to the side hinge. You have a bicep swivel. You have an elbow bend. You even have a wrist swivel there. You kind of have an ab crunch just because of the way it transforms, but that's nice. Actually, you have two ab crunches, so you can take advantage of both of those. Kick forward, you have a thigh swivel here, and if you want to kind of kick more forward, you have to kind of rotate that to the side, but you can kick pretty far forward, kick out to the side. Again, you got that thigh swivel. You have a knee that can bend both front and back, which can be a little weird, but it can do it. And then you have a ball joint down here for the ankle. So really nice level of articulation for this guy. And I think the colors are really cool. Let's go ahead and bring in the previous version, so you can see these two side by side. It's kind of cool because this guy was primarily white. You almost have kind of like a white and black, almost like a good and evil kind of thing going on here, which is kind of neat. I think that's kind of cool. It reminds me almost of the two raptors from Ryusoulger, which is kind of neat. But yeah, I mean, they both look good. I've always liked the robot mode for this. I thought it was pretty well done. Very simple transformation, but nicely executed. Fantastic articulation for the robot mode. And because it's just kind of a single standoff robot mode mecha, it's very clean. It doesn't have, you know, weird things or clearance issues or stuff hanging off. It's just a really good, clean-looking robot mode, and I like this quite a bit. So let's take a quick segue to our new gold bugs here, our kind of little weapon companion pieces. We have Cicada Blade, which has this really nice chrome here for the wings. And then we have Peed Chainsaw, which doesn't look like it has a lot of chrome from the top, because all the chrome is hidden here underneath for the blade of the chainsaw, which looks pretty good. Before we do transformations, I'm going to bring in their counterparts real quick, just so we can take a look. Again, same mold, just different colored plastic, so not really anything super new going on here, but I always thought these were pretty cool little weapons. Now, these did originally come with... Actually, now that I think about it, they had a box set where you could get these two packed in with God Tarantula, but I think they might have also sold them separately as well. So it made sense to kind of pack these two in with Tarantula Abyss. But the problem is, and I mentioned earlier that we were kind of... This release concludes the black and gold repaints, but not really, because they never did the other two small like bug accessories with the pill bug and the snail. They did not do those in gold, and so those would be the only thing missing if you wanted to do a full God KingOhger in black and gold. So what they've done is they've taken... They did finally make gold versions of the rolling pill bug and the the snail. I can never remember the snail Gatling, I think it's called. They did make gold versions of them, and they've packed them in with a new, like, shiny metallic version of KingOhger. And it's such a devious move, because I don't need another version of KingOhger. I've already got two. I certainly don't need a third, especially when it's not even like a drastically different color scheme. It's just a like metallic paint version of the original. But if you want those two gold weapons to have a complete, full 12 mecha, or I guess, is it more than 12 at this point? Whatever the case. If you want the full, complete version of God KingOhger in black and gold, then you have to buy that. I'm not falling for it. I'm not doing it. Maybe someday down the line, if it's on Mandarake or something for ridiculously cheap, I'll consider it. But for the time being, my stance is I'm not doing that. So I won't be able to do a complete, full black and gold God KingOhger at the end of this video, but I'll get as close as I can. But in any case, it is just the same thing, but now with gold chrome. Cicada blade. I will say that this one had a lot more in terms of the variance of color, and this one is very one note. It's literally just gold paint, or I guess gold plastic, gold chrome, pink eyes, where at least with this one you had the pink eyes, you had this little pop of like seafoam green here, a little bit of navy blue down here on the bottom, had the silver for the wings, kind of two different tones. I mean, yes, the gray and the silver are similar, but at least it was something different. And I mean, I guess the gold plastic and the chrome is different, but he has become very one note because he's missing any kind of paint. I would have liked maybe like a little bit of black here maybe, or maybe do this piece down here in black just to give it something, or even the navy blue, because the navy blue is prevalent in Tarantula Abyss. Maybe give him a little bit of navy blue paint here or something, just a little bit, because he's very one note. He's a little boring there, but they're still pretty cool. And of course they transform exactly the same way. So you just take this, bend this around to make the chainsaw blade, and then you rotate this down and flip this up. And then you are good to go on that. For the cicada, now technically it has like an unofficial shield mode that I've always kind of liked. You just kind of bend the wings down here. Nope, I did it the wrong way. So you bend them this way, and then you can kind of tilt them with the ball joint out to the side a little bit so that these can kind of meet, and it makes like a shield, which is kind of cool, and I like that. But like the official version is to flip these down and then bring these like this, and it's kind of like a bladed weapon, but there's also like a cannon here in the center, so it's kind of like a dual purpose kind of slash and shoot weapon, which is cool, and I like that too. So you have a couple options with the cicada blade. You have the weapon, the gun, the blades. You could also make a shield out of it, which is kind of cool. So let's go ahead and get these attached to Tarantula Abyss. So here's Tarantula Abyss with these two attached. We have the awesome chainsaw now with all of this chrome. And then we have our cicada blade slash cannon, whatever we want to call that, on this arm. I mean, you can connect them to either arm. It doesn't matter. And you can also use them with KingOhger or any of the past releases as well. They just have this kind of clip system here on all of the arms, and it just pop right on. It's very simple. But yeah, this looks cool. More chrome. Definitely looks awesome. I love all of the chrome here on the chainsaw blade. I think that looks cool. I guess technically am I supposed to rotate this a certain way? I don't know. And either, it's fine. I kind of like to keep it like this because then it almost kind of looks like it blends in. But either way, all that chrome looks really, really cool, and I like having these two attached. So I just want to do a quick group shot here of KingOhger Zero and Tarantula Abyss, just because we got the whole black and gold color scheme going on here. Although I really just realized that KingOhger Zero doesn't have any chrome, which is kind of a bummer, because you have the nice chrome here. King Caucasus Kabuto is going to have chrome, and all of the, well, I guess technically, no, they have, I mean, they have chrome on the inside, but all of these guys have chrome as well, and they have the black and gold color scheme going, so kind of a bummer that he doesn't have any. The other thing that's a little unfortunate is the golds don't all match, like the color of the gold plastic and the gold paint. Because this guy doesn't really have any gold paint. He's either got gold plastic or chrome. He's got some gold paint and gold plastic, but the gold plastics don't really match. So we'll see when we finally get to God KingOhger. We'll see how it all looks together. But yeah, So far, I think this is pretty cool. Just having these two together with kind of a cohesive color scheme, I think is really neat. I'm going to go ahead and put together Extreme KingOhger. I'm not going to walk through the steps because I feel like we know how to do that by now. And if you want to see that, you can watch the video I did for the regular version of God Tarantula. But I'm going to go ahead and form Extreme KingOhger using all of the black and gold pieces, and we'll see how cool that looks. So yeah, I'll be honest. I've never been a huge fan of this form. It's neat that they can all combine together, but it becomes such a cluster by the end. There are so many clearance issues because everything's just got antennas and legs and wings and everything just jutting out all over the place, and it doesn't really work in my opinion. It never has. But I do think it looks neat that it's all black and gold. I mean, you have that continuity for the color scheme throughout, which is kind of cool. But also on the same token, like, it all kind of blends together into one large black and gold blob after, if I stare at it for long enough. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think for the most part, it looks pretty cool. The chrome definitely looks sharp. That definitely jumps out at you. And having that kind of, at most of the places, I think is kind of cool. To me, it's like steal the headpiece and then just make Legend KingOhger. Because throwing the tarantula on the back just makes it so ridiculously back heavy. And you basically hide the entire tarantula away except for the bottom of his feet, which I guess are supposed to be cannons. But I don't know. It just looks like feet. What I like to do, and this is not official, but I like to put them like this. Because then I can almost pretend like these are the barrels of the cannon, and then these are just kind of like a hand guard or something. Like I can kind of envision a gun or something looking like that, if that's kind of like a hand guard or something. I've seen things in laser guns and things that look like that. So I like to do it like that, and then just here's the cannons, the barrels of the cannons at the top. It's up to you. You can do either, but I guess the official way is to rotate them back 180 degrees. But it's just such a mess, especially the backpack. I mean, you're just putting so much on the back, and there's so many legs of bugs and things that are getting in the way. And, this form has never really worked for me. God KingOhger is even worse in my opinion, but we'll get there in a moment. So yeah, I think it's cool that it's a uniform color scheme, but I'm still not a huge fan of this form. Okay, so this is actually pretty cool, honestly. This thing's a little bit more stable than I remember, and definitely more stable than Extreme KingOhger. And seeing this completely done in black and gold is actually pretty cool. Now, I probably have it mistransformed a little bit. I'll be honest, I was doing it from memory, and it's been a minute. But still, having this thing fully done in black and gold is pretty awesome. The chrome looks great. You have all this chrome here. You have the silver chrome as well. You've got this gold chrome, just all the black and gold paint. It's big, it's impressive, and it's a cohesive color scheme. Now, like I said, we are missing two of the little, weaponry bugs with the pill bug hammer and the snail gatling. So that's a bit of a bummer. And if you want those, unfortunately, you will have to buy the metallic shining KingOhger or whatever they're calling that. But I think this is good enough, honestly. I mean, this is still a giant cluster, but because it has the giant base with the feet, it pulls it off so much better than Extreme KingOhger, in my opinion. And you have a little bit more room to kind of move some things around in the back. And it helps because you have to bring the two spider legs down to be stabilizers. I do still wish they clicked in some way. I think that really would have helped. And that was a problem I had with the original God KingOhger, and I still have a problem with this version. But by bringing those legs down, it frees up some space in the back, and you can space out some of the other legs and wings and things. So this is a neat form. It's a giant cluster, but I definitely think, honestly, I think Extreme KingOhger is the weakest of all the forms. I think this is definitely a step above in both size and stability and quality. So having all of this in full black and gold is actually pretty cool. I think this is a pretty cool release. I mean, this was definitely one of my favorite molds to come out of KingOhger. It's just a fun standalone mech. It has a great tarantula mode. It has a great robot mode. Articulation is fantastic in both modes. The color scheme here is a lot of fun. You get the black and gold. The chrome's really sharp. I also like the little bit of the navy blue, and the purple kind of breaks everything up. Getting the gold versions of Cicada and Centipede here are pretty cool as well. It's a bummer we didn't get the other two, and it's also a bummer that they're locking them to a third version of KingOhger. But if you're content to kind of just exist without those two, now having KingOhger Zero and Tarantula Abyss and King Kakasa's Kabuto, you can pull off a 98% God KingOhger all in black and gold, which does look pretty cool. I still think Extreme KingOhger is kind of a cluster of a form, and I'd say just bypass that and go right to God KingOhger, because that's a little bit more stable. But yeah, it's a fun release. I mean, do you need it? No, of course not. I would say get one version of this mold, whether you want the normal God Tarantula or if you want Tarantula Abyss, get at least one of them. You know, if you love black and gold repaints, I think this is a pretty good one. But again, your mileage is going to vary. But I would say you should get, if you're a Sentai fan, if you like KingOhger, definitely get at least one version of this mold. Whether you get the normal retail or this one, get at least one of them, because it's a pretty solid mold. It's a really fun robot, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.